Yo, what's up, YouTube? King and Macy's is here, and we're back with a Yu-Gi-Oh video. So this past weekend, I participated in what's called a YCS, and this was the first remote YCS they had. So basically, you're dueling when you're dueling someone, the table looks just like this. So what I want to do is share with you guys my deck profile that I used in order to enter this tournament. I did make it to day two. I lost in round 11. But considering my score was going into day two, chances are I wasn't going to make top 32, which is fine. But this is my first YCS in like the past 4 years, so I'm kind of proud of myself. So the deck that I decided to run was Sky Striker. A lot of people were saying that it wasn't going to do anything because they brought back Engage, yada yada yada. I thought they was completely wrong, which I was right. I beat a lot of actually the deck that was top was called Tri-Brigade, and I ended up bumping into a total of six of them, and I only lost to two. And then I lost to a Drytron. So other than that, I think I did pretty well. But let's get started with this deck profile. So with any standard deck, we're gonna run 3 Ray and 2 Rose. That's basically the best formula. You don't want to. Not saying that Rose is a brick, but you want to see Ray more than you want to see Rose. So I think this is a pretty good ratio. Some people run 3. I just think this is perfectly fine because there's so many other cards to get Ray. You'll see those cards once I put them out. So that's it for those. Now for hand traps, we have, of course, the awesome Ash Blossom. I ran triple effect Veiler, and also um, infinite impermanence. This was the ratio I decided to go with. It worked really well. Veiler, Ash, and impermanence pretty much stops any monster effect that will get a deck to go off. And I also ran a tech. The tech that I decided to use was Artifact Lancia. A lot of people told me it was a bad idea, but it turned out to be great. Lancia literally won any game I didn't see Lancia was the games that I lost. So I lost a total of 3 games. Well, I seen him against Drytron, but I really don't. You really don't need this card against Drytron. So it was kind of. I wouldn't say it was a dead draw, but it did stop them from using Pot of Prosperity, which helps them dig more into their deck. So I do have to do a little bit things different. But when we went into game 2 and 3, I took this out. But it worked really well against. It worked very well against Tri-Brigade, which I thought I was going to see a lot of, which I did. I seen 6 of them out of 11 rounds. Then I ran into a Grand Maju deck. They couldn't banish anything, so I wiped that deck. I ran into a Thunder Dragon deck. They couldn't banish anything. I wiped that deck. So Lancia did work for me, but this is just for me personally. I don't know about everybody else, but I really did enjoy the tech. And I only used it in a big event. I won't use it in locals, big events, because everybody's going to run the best deck, and the best deck, in my opinion, is Tri-Brigade, right next behind Drytron. I also played Virtual World. This deck helped me stop Virtual World too, so it worked out with me pretty well. Next, Pankratops. Pankratops is just an amazing card. It's a free body. It gets rid of problematic cards such as uh, Imperial Order. You get rid of the anti-spell fragrances, any monsters you don't want on the field. If you want to push for damage, Pankratops helps a lot. So I believe that's a total of 14 monsters. I did run a 41 card deck, so that's what that was. All right, let's get into the striker cards. 3 Widow Anchor, self-explanatory. Negates monster effect. You got 3 spells engraved. You pretty much take the monster. 2 Shark Cannon. I used to run 3, but I think 2 is enough because we have engaged now. So if we really need Shark Cannon, we can just search it. Area 0 basically counts as another rose. It counts to helps you dig in your deck a little bit too. You get to see the next 3 top cards of your deck. Add a Sky Striker card. If you destroy it, then you get to add a Ray, or you get special summon a Ray or a Rose depending on the situation. My deck is going second, so 2 Afterburners is great. It just wipes stuff off the field, so it works. One ofs. These are really good. Eagle Booster pretty much protects your monster for a turn. They can't do anything but attack into it. You'll still take damage, but it doesn't die. Hornet Drones is just another Sky Striker monster. Jamming Waves pops a back, gets rid of problematic back rows and monsters that you can't target. Um, and then multi-roll is just multi-roll. We all know what multi-roll does. And then MVP engage. A lot of people don't like this card, so they do whatever it takes to get rid of it. They use their Ash Blossoms, they use their DD Crows and things like that, which gives you an option to do other stuff. Usually, if this is in the grave already, if I have something like a Widow Anchor or something like that, and I special summon Kagari, I might go for the Widow Anchor. It all depends on the situation because I don't want them to DD Crow my engage. And if I don't necessarily need to use it at that moment, I won't go for it. I'll go for something else so they can waste their DD Crow on it. Alright, so I do use the Foolish Burial and Metaphors Fusion package because I didn't like Pot of Desires. I've had bad experiences with it. Not saying it's not a great card, it is, but to me, in this deck, is not. Especially when you're desperate for stuff. Like let's say I was to open up. Let's say all three of these was Pot of Desires. I'd rather open up with Foolish Burial Goods because I get to dump my Metaphors Fusion, and if I really need to draw a card, I just do it off that. But I've used Pot of Desires and got rid of 3 Ray before. I've banished 2 Ray, 2 Rose. I've banished Engage and stuff like that when I'm forced to use it. And I don't like it, especially when they have Ash. I just banished 10 cards and now I have to deal with Ash. And you know, everybody was like, well, why don't you use triple tactics and all that other stuff? I didn't have room for it, and this worked really well. It was a game where I resolved Metaphors Fusion at least 5 times. So in my opinion, it works. So this is just my opinion, but I like it. My one-ofs. So with these, Upstart Goblin, just a free draw. I did regret running 41 cards, but to me, it worked. I'm not gonna lie, I did want to cut a card, but to me, it really worked. Duster, just in case if I ran into a random floodgate, and it went first. Duster was well, I did. I ran into Eldrich, and he set 4 back row in turn. I opened up Harpy's Feather Dust, and I wiped his field. Reinforcement of Army, we already know what it does. Mystic Mind is a douche card, but it's great in this deck. Terraforming, search your stuff, and Space. Space was really good because I just needed a quick play spell to open up with, and I don't like discarding cards unless I really have to, and I don't like paying life points. So I chose Space over Typhoon. What I do differently is I'll probably run an additional space. I'll drop another card. The card I'll probably drop out of there is probably Artifact Lancia if I did want to run an additional space. Or I just drop a Lancia and just run 1 space. Just run a 40 card deck. But space saved me a lot. A lot of games, a lot of the Tri-Brigades I played against, they first turn Imperial Order me, at least 3 of them. And when they drew Imperial Order, I had space. So once they activated in standby phase, I was able to pop the Imperial Order and I didn't have to deal with it. Or I activated a magic card to bait it out and they use it and I can just pop it with space. Which means that I was able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With my deck. So that's it for the main deck. Now let's go to the extra deck. We got the 3 Cycle Reader. Cycle Reader is specifically for Drytron. I never seen it. I didn't see this card at all throughout the whole tournament. So, still a great card. Still recommend it, especially since Drytron is a hot card right now. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm showing you guys my side deck when I should be showing you my extra deck. Apologies. We'll get back to that. We already know the boss monsters of the deck. You got Kagari, Shizuku. Shizuku out of spell at the end phase. Kagari out of spell from the graveyard. So, we'll keep, we can use this to search for engage at end phase. If we already have engaged in grave, we can activate Kagari to use it again. Also, the Foolish Burial makes, the Foolish Burial Goods and the Metaphors Fusion also makes it faster for your engage to be live. To Hayate, basically you attack and dump. Usually you can dump the engage to get it to your hand faster. Kinda Zeke. Zeke was amazing. Zeke's helped out a lot. Kinda, I didn't use Kinda at all because they always got rid of my Ray before I can even use Kinda. So Ray was always got rid of before Kinda came out. So I will still keep her because you might never know, she might save you. So yeah, that's how that is. You got Ning and Phoenix. I did not like Ningetsu at all. I really did not like this card. It's too much stuff to make them. I got to use two link monsters and things like that. I rather just use Nightmare Unicorn. They said Ningetsu is good for the Dragoons matchup, but once you look at my side deck, you'll see why I won't use them. So I'm definitely changing Ning to Phoenix because I just think it's better and it's easier to make. And then we have the Access Code Talker package. So use Christian to special summon Effect Veiler. I got Rule Sharked on that because I didn't notice that I went for Veiler and I didn't notice that I grabbed Ash Blossom because they was next to each other. I forgot what I was doing, but I was a little bit distracted and dude Rule Sharked me, so I lost that match against that Tri-Brigade when I would have won that turn and I would have ended the whole match. But the thing is, it was my fault for not paying attention. You know, Celine. A lot of people tried to a lot of people tried to cheat with Celine. Celine count all spells in graveyard. It don't just count yours. So it counts your opponent's spells too. So make sure you guys definitely pay attention to how many spells is in their graveyard, so you can still get Celine out. And then we already know what Excess Code Talker does. Now back to the extra deck, side deck. You got Cycle Reader. Cycle Reader is good for Drytron. Make sure you guys always side it in. This is the reason why I don't think I need the kaiju set. Kaiju's is really good. Kaiju's get rid of any problematic monster you can possibly think of. I use two wind just for a case I bump into someone using wind barrier. I use the water kaiju because sometimes I got tired of opening it up with more than one kaiju. So that way I was able to if I do open up with two kaijus and I open up with these, I can give them this one and special summon that one to attack over it if I have to. So or yeah, so it worked. It worked really well. So someone summoned dragoons on me, I just tributed. I was done with dragoons. Twin Twisters to get rid of problematic cards. It helped out a lot. It just helped get rid of floodgates. I don't main deck it because I don't like discarding cards unless I really have to. It's still a thought over space, but I don't know. Space just worked a lot worse, better for me. I don't want to open Twin Twisters and don't have any cards in my hand. Different Dimension Ground was a test. Only because you will see a lot of test cards in here because I didn't finish my side deck before the tournament start, which is my fault. I should have been a little bit more prepared. I'd rather use Shared Ride and I'd rather use Typhoon was a better card. But this card did help me in a game where a Tri-Brigade forced me to go first, which was fine. So, what was it? They revealed, I drew it, so I activated it, and they literally just passed turn because they couldn't do anything. They need their monsters in the graveyard before they do anything. So this helped out a lot. Heavy Storm Duster was another card that I wanted to that I used to help with back row. Um, it was really to get rid of to get rid of the problem back row, such as the Imperial Order, the anti-spell fragrance. But I'd rather just use the card that I'm going to use is Typhoon. I think Typhoon is a better card because they only need two face-up spells. So if they already have Imperial Order down or something like that, or if they got a 10 key up, it pops it. Even when they activate a spell card, if you don't have any back rows or any spell traps on the field, Typhoon is still live because they have a continuous up, so you can activate it from your hand. So I think Typhoon is a better use, or I use Evenly Match. So whichever one is better to me. I haven't decided yet. I'm still working on it. Solemn Judgment, I kind of just threw that in there because I didn't have nothing else to use. Like I said before, Solemn Judgment basically going to be shared, right? I didn't cite in Solemn. I think I cited in Solemn one game when I played the Grand Maju, just to stop them from, taking over the board. But Solemn never showed up, so I really didn't use it. But this was my very first remote duel, and I believe it was the very first YCS remote duel. So I did really good. I think I placed 138. It was over 2,100 people at the tournament, if I'm not mistaken. So to me, I think I did very well. And I can't wait to enter another one because I'll be way more prepared, and I think I do really good. But thank you so much for following this video. Make sure you guys follow my Discord, my Twitch, of course, subscribe to the YouTube, like this video if you guys want to see more of this content. And other than that, King of Macy's is out.